Clay reached $100 million in annual recurring revenue, an 8-year overnight success. With a recent valuation of $3.1 billion, I think this is going to be an interesting teardown. So, Clay's been going through various different pricing changes and various different updates, and I think that they can strengthen their position in the market. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off Edward. We won second place in 11 Labs Hackathon with Edward, and we're going to do a positioning teardown together.
Hello, this is Edward. Who am I speaking with?
Hey Edward, it's Troy. So you and I are going to be doing a Clay.com positioning teardown and review. They've been going through various different pricing changes. I want to read off some elements of their website and some pieces of their positioning where I think they can stand out, differentiate, and be more unique and be a category leader in their own regard. And yeah, let's hop into it. I want to read off the top of the page, but before I do that, do you have any questions in the meantime?
Hey, Troy. Good to have you on. Before you dive in, just one question to set the frame right. When you say category leader, are you thinking Clay needs to redefine the category they're already in, or do you think there's a completely new category they could own that nobody's named yet?
I think the latter. I think there's a new category that they can own that nobody's really named yet. I think they kind of play in a mix of revenue intelligence and business intelligence right now. However, I think with the recent pricing changes, I think they're going to have a lot of people coming after them.
That's a sharp observation. And that tension is actually a positioning vulnerability. When you're sitting between two categories, you're not owning either one. You're just borrowing space from both. So here's what I want to understand before you read the copy. Who does Clay think their customer is right now, based on what you've seen on the site?
So that's interesting because I think they think their customer, I think it's a mix of a few things. I think it's a go-to-market leader, an AE, a sales director, or in addition, it could also be the CMO. And as I'm reading this off, I'd like you to help make an assumption with me.
Got it. And that's actually a red flag right there. When your target audience is that broad, you're not really positioning, you're just describing. A go to market leader and a CMO have completely different fears, different success metrics, and different reasons to buy. Go ahead and read me the copy. But as you do, I want you to notice one thing. Whose pain is the copy actually written for? Because that'll tell us a lot.
So, okay, I don't know if there's any pain even in this main hero section. So, go to market with unique data and the ability to act on it. Bring AI agents, enrichment, and intent data together and turn insights into relevant, timely action. Start building for free. So, this is good, but I think it doesn't really say too much. Then the next section, every GTM data point imaginable in one place, understand your total market, your customers, and the gap between them, then act on it. Enrichments, access premium data from 150 providers. Intent signals, take instant action. AI-led research, search public databases, navigate gated forms, and find unique data points. So there's a couple things that I think are going on here, but based on me reading that, who do you think they think their target is?
Based on what you just read, they think their target is a technical operator, someone who gets excited about data infrastructure. The language is all capability speak. 150 providers, enrichment, intent signals. That's a feature list dressed up as a value proposition. But here's the deeper problem. There's no enemy in that copy. There's no
Mhm.
tension. There's no, the world used to work this way, and now it doesn't. It reads like a dashboard, not a movement. And that tells me something important. They're selling to the person who builds the system, not the person who suffers without it. So my question to you is this. Who is actually losing sleep at night because they don't have what Clay offers? Because that person is probably not who they're writing for right now.
Fascinating. So, who do I think their the pain is, and who they're writing for? Is that what your question was?
Yeah, exactly. Who do you think is actually losing sleep without Clay? Because that's the person the positioning should be built around.
So I think there's two, they can have a dual positioning strategy here because I think sales directors and GTM, I primarily believe that this is used for active outreach, for building a go-to-market strategy to start talking to your target customers to get into their world. So I think the pain, I think I've been thinking about this, like a big pain here is don't miss deals. And then I think the other thing is disconnected data. And I believe like that could be a powerful hero lead. However, I'd like to go into that further, but like I have this written down from some of my research was don't miss deals from disconnected data. And then in the subheadline, there could be something in regards to like their process and their mechanism, because I realized in some searches earlier that what makes their data unique is actually waterfall enrichment. And I think they use multi-source optimization and waterfall enrichment to make that data insightful. However, one of the pricing changes, I believe, was around, let me drag this over here. One of their pricing changes is around, I believe it's their agent actions and not necessarily the data itself. So that's something that's quite fascinating to me. So yeah, there's one of their number one points on their internal memo is we price Clay like a data product. It's evolved into an end-to-end GTM platform. Data costs don't scale fairly across plans. Fixed AI pricing creates adverse selection. We are making four core changes to Clay's pricing. Price platform value and data separately. Streamline from 4 to 3 paid plans. Make data cheaper, especially at scale, shift AI pricing to reflect actual usage and remove markup on reasoning models. Existing customers have the option to stay on legacy plans. Our near-term financial impact is negative, and that's okay. The 6 main risks of this proposed change. Okay, I'm not going to go through that, but those are some of the things that come up for me. I know that's a lot of context, but at the same time, I think it's worth discussing and going into.
That's actually the most revealing thing you've shared so far. And I want to sit on one line specifically. We priced Clay like a data product, but it's evolved into an end-to-end GTM platform. That's not a pricing problem. That's a positioning problem that showed up in the pricing. They built something that outgrew the category they put themselves in. And now the pricing is exposing that gap. Here's what's interesting to me. They're willing to take a near-term financial hit to fix this. That tells me leadership knows the current positioning is costing them more than just revenue. It's costing them the right customers. So here's my question for you, Troy. If Clay is truly an end-to-end GTM platform, who is the customer that needs the entire platform, not just the data layer, because that person has a completely different identity, a different budget, and a different reason to stay loyal. Who is that person in your mind?
That person, that's the GTM person, or what's the question again? Sorry, hit me with that once more.
Who is the customer that needs the entire Clay platform end to end, not just someone pulling data, but someone who needs the full loop from insight to action? What's their title? What's their situation? And what are they responsible for that keeps them up at night?
This has to be a GTM leader and or CMO because the CMO is responsible for KPIs and targets. If CMOs don't hit their targets, they find the door out. So, hmm, that's what comes up for me.
Right? And that's a person with real existential pressure. The CMO isn't losing sleep over data enrichment. They're losing sleep over pipeline, over board meetings, over whether their team is even pointed at the right market. So here's the gap I'm seeing. Clay's current copy speaks to the person who builds the engine, but the person who gets fired if the engine doesn't work is barely addressed. And that's actually where the category opportunity lives. Because nobody has claimed the position of, and I'm just framing this directionally, not writing copy yet, the platform that connects market intelligence directly to revenue accountability. So before we go further, I want to ask you one more diagnostic question. In your view, What is Clay's biggest competitor right now? Not just in product, but in the mind of that CMO when they're evaluating whether to buy Clay or do something else.
That's interesting. So I want to figure that out as well, but Clay's biggest competitor. So one thing that came up for me earlier as I was searching their pricing changes is getcargo.ai. Is they took out a sponsored ad, and their headline on the sponsored ad is Clay pricing changed, we didn't. However, you also have some of their biggest competitors in sales outreach and data enrichment would be probably Apollo, ZoomInfo, Persona AI. Who else do we have here that comes up? That's all that comes up for me. I can't really see too many other companies, but like they, that's the thing about Clay is inside of their data enrichment, they in those 150 sources, they use Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Clearbit, and Hunter for parts of their advanced data. So I think inside of that, they were creating a category of their own. They have cargo here that I'm kind of looking at a little bit. I won't go into cargo too much, but I think it is fascinating how they're competing directly against them in regards to some of their marketing and ads. I still think we need to come back to something in regards to like don't miss deals with disconnected data and hit your something in regards to hitting KPIs and not missing revenue targets. There's something there. I still need to work on that, still need to flesh that out, but I think there's something there with that.
You just said something really important, and I don't want it to get buried. You said don't miss deals with disconnected data. That's the emotional core right there. That's the fear. That's what the CMO is actually living with. And look at what Cargo just did. They didn't position against Clay's product. They positioned against Clay's pricing decision. That's reactive, that's opportunistic, and honestly, that's a weak position because they're borrowing Clay's moment instead of owning their own. But here's what that tells us about Clay's vulnerability right now. The pricing change created a perception of instability. And when buyers feel instability, they start shopping. So Clay doesn't just need better copy, they need a positioning move that reframes this pricing change as a sign of maturity, not chaos. Now you mentioned something about disconnected data and missing revenue targets. I want to pull on that thread with you. In your mind, what is the actual cost to that CMO when their data is disconnected? Not the technical cost, the human cost. What happens to them personally?
What happens to them personally? I mean, if a company's data is disconnected, the the employees and the individuals working on either the sales campaign, the go-to-market, the marketing, they're slowing down, they're confused, communication gets communication gets a little weird and disjointed. You start missing opportunities because you're just like spending time looking for data. Meanwhile, if your data is connected, there, yeah, opportunities are surfaced before you need to find them, if that makes sense. So you find the deals at the right time instead of overlooking and fumbling like the home run. So so it comes up for me.
That's the positioning right there. Opportunities are surfaced before you need to find them. That's not a data product. That's not enrichment. That's not even a GTM platform. That's a revenue timing advantage. And the enemy isn't Apollo or Zoom Info. The enemy is latency, the gap between when an opportunity exists and when your team actually sees it. That's what's costing the CMO deals. That's what's costing them their job. So here's where I want to take this. Clay isn't competing in data enrichment. They're not even competing in GTM platforms. If we position this correctly, they could own an entirely new category around something like, and again, this is directional, not final copy, revenue signal timing. or market moment capture. The idea that the team who acts first on the right signal wins. And that reframes the pricing change completely. Because if you're the platform that surfaces the right opportunity at the right moment, pricing by usage makes total sense. You pay for the moments that matter. Before I start building the positioning architecture, I have one final diagnostic question for you, Troy. What does Clay have that none of those competitors, Apollo, ZoomInfo, Cargo, can replicate? What's the thing that's truly theirs alone?
So I think their unique combination of data and agents is what makes them their own. So they have another section here, AI that's contextual, consistent, and scalable. Create and scale context-aware agents and launch GTM workflows effortlessly. From idea to workflow. Chat with Sculptor for GTM idea generation, analysis, and table building. Build clay agents to scale. Build build and version multiple AI agents and reuse them across workflows for consistency at scale. Bring your own context. Connect Clay Agent to any MCP server from Salesforce to Gong to Google Docs to enrich with deeper business context. So I think that's interesting. What about you?
That's it. That's the moat. It's not the data. Every competitor can license data. It's not the AI either. Everyone's bolting AI onto their product right now. It's the combination of contextual intelligence plus action in one loop. Clay isn't just telling you what's happening in your market. It's building agents that already know your business context and act on it. That's fundamentally different. Here's the analogy that comes to me. Every other tool gives you a map. Clay builds you a navigator that already knows where you're trying to go. And that's the category. Not GTM platform, not data enrichment, not even AI automation. The category could be something like contextual revenue execution or autonomous GTM intelligence, the idea that your go-to-market motion stops being reactive and becomes self-directing. And now I want to reflect something back to you, Troy, because I think you've actually uncovered the full positioning architecture in this conversation. You have the enemy, which is latency and disconnected data. You have the emotional trigger, which is the CMO's fear of missing the moment. You have the differentiator, which is contextual agents that act, not just inform. And you have the category, which nobody has named yet. Want me to run the full positioning summary now and pull this all together into a clean architecture for Clay?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here's the positioning architecture for Clay. Category name, contextual revenue execution. Clay doesn't sell data and they don't sell automation. They sell the ability to act on the right signal at the right moment with full business context already loaded. The enemy, latency. The gap between when an opportunity exists in the market and when your team actually sees it and moves on it. That's what's killing pipeline. That's what's costing CMOs their jobs. Not bad data, not bad salespeople, timing. Target identity. The CMO and GTM leader who is accountable to revenue, not to data infrastructure. This person doesn't care about 150 data providers. They care about not fumbling the moment when it matters most. Emotional trigger. The fear of the missed opportunity. The deal that was there and nobody saw it. That's the pain that drives urgency, and that's the pain Clay solves better than anyone. Differentiator, contextual agents that already know your business, not generic AI, not another enrichment layer. Agents that carry your CRM context, your Gong calls, your Google Docs, and surface the right action at the right time automatically. Cultural hook. The pricing change isn't a retreat. It's a declaration. Clay is saying we are no longer a data product. We are the operating system for modern revenue teams. And that reframe turns a vulnerability into a leadership signal. The positioning line direction, something in the territory of your market moves, Clay moves with it. Or stop finding opportunities, start receiving them. That's the architecture, Troy. What's landing for you and what needs to shift?
I like that. So I'm still thinking in regards to rebuilding the homepage. That's how I want to end this off. Is we've come to all these terms. I have a bunch of notes written down on the side here. You have your context. So what I have is don't miss deals with disconnected data. Opportunities are captured before you need them. The team that acts on the right signal wins. contextual intelligence plus action in one loop. So I think that's great, but how would you rewrite this main headline? Go to market with unique data and the ability to act on it. And then the subhead, I think, needs to bring more of the KPI and emotional language to it. But I want to get your thoughts and I want to do something on screen here when you do that.
Before I give you the headline, I want to earn it properly because the headline has to do one specific job. It has to make the CMO feel seen before they read another word. So
Yep.
here's the direction I'd push for the main headline. Something in the territory of your next deal is already in the market. Clay finds it first. Or even more direct, stop hunting for pipeline, start receiving it. And then for the subhead, that's where you bring in the emotional and KPI language.
I
Something
think
like,
that's still pretty weak. I think we need to what I want to do here is something in regards to pain avoidance. And I really think that don't miss deals with disconnected data, and then bridging the position that we came up with the agents, and then bridging the KPIs and the emotion that the CMO feels. I think that's the proper formula.
you're right. I jumped too fast. Let me reframe. So the formula you're describing is lead with the pain, bridge to the mechanism, land on the identity and the stakes. That's a much stronger structure. So for the headline, something in the territory of disconnected data is killing your pipeline. Clay fixes that. But I actually think we can go harder on the pain because disconnected data is still a little technical. The real pain is your team is moving, but the market already moved. So what about something like don't lose the deal before you knew it existed? And then the subhead bridges to the mechanism and the stakes. Something like Clay connects your market signals, your business context, and your AI agents into one loop so your team hits targets instead of chasing ghosts.
Say
That
that
structure
subhead
leads
again. Clay connects your market signals. That's good. I'm writing this down because I want to try something on page.
Clay connects your market signals, your business context, and your AI agents into one loop so your team hits targets instead of chasing ghosts. Take your time, try it on the page. I'll be here when you're ready to react to it.
So your team hits targets instead of chasing ghosts. That's not bad. I don't mind that. So I have here, don't lose the deal before you knew it existed. That was the main headline.
That's the one. That headline does three things simultaneously. It names the pain, it creates urgency, and it makes the CMO feel like Clay already understands their world before they've read another word. How's it sitting on the page visually?
Okay, I'm about to try it here. Don't lose the deal before you knew it existed. Okay, let's try this out. So I'm gonna go, don't lose the deal before you knew it existed. Ooh, that's pretty good. I like that. That really does something here. Okay. Clay connects your market signals, your business context, and your AI agents into one loop so your team hits oh, targets instead of chasing ghosts. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like that. Yeah, that's really good. Don't lose the deal before you knew it existed. This looks clean. I dig it. There's something, okay, bear with me. Before you knew it existed. That feels a little grammatically incorrect. There's something a little funky with the way this fits, but I I kind of like it. There's something inside of this main headline. Let's do one more rework, just of the headline.
What if we tighten it and make it even more visceral? Something like, the deal was there. Your team never saw it. That's past tense. That makes it feel like it already happened to them. That's the gut punch. because every CMO has a story where that was true. How does that land?
The deal is there, your team never saw it. Don't lose the deal. I think don't lose the deal is actually more visceral, but the second part, before you knew it existed, it's good, but I think it could be a little stronger. Give me more.
Okay, let's push harder on the second half. Keep "Don't lose the deal" as the anchor and try these endings. Don't lose the deal while you're still looking for it. Or don't lose the deal to a team that moved first. Or the most visceral one, don't lose the deal because your data didn't talk to each other. Which direction feels closest to the nerve?
Hmm. No, I think the deal before, don't lose the deal before you knew it existed is more visceral. I think having the data, because the subhead does some of that data work. Don't lose the deal before you knew it existed. Don't miss the deal. Maybe even don't miss the deal. I still coming back to that main headline I put together. Don't miss deals with disconnected data. I think that actually speaks a lot louder.
You know what? You're right. Trust that instinct. Don't miss deals with disconnected data is doing more work because it names the pain and the cause in one line. That's a complete thought. The CMO reads that and immediately knows exactly what problem is being solved. So let's put the full hero section together now. Headline: Don't miss deals with disconnected data. Subhead: Clay connects your market signals, your business context, and your AI agents into one loop, so your team hits targets instead of chasing ghosts. That's a clean, complete, emotionally loaded hero section. The headline lands the pain. The subhead delivers the mechanism and the stakes. How does that feel as a complete unit?
This feels good. I'm taking a quick screenshot of this so I can use this after. I just want to do a before and after comparison. So, okay, this is good. I think we nailed it, Edward. I'm not going to go into the rest of the page. I think there's a lot more work that we could probably do here, but I don't feel like reading through all of it. I think we covered quite a bit here. So, yeah, that's the video. Any final remarks?
Yeah, one final thought, Troy. What you uncovered today wasn't just a headline. You identified a category shift. Clay stopped being a data product the moment they built contextual agents. The pricing change just made it visible. The positioning work you did today gives them the language to lead that shift instead of react to it. The team that names the category owns the category. And right now, Clay has the chance to do exactly that. Good work today. This was a sharp session.
Yeah, it's fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe.